Well, hey everybody. Today I'm gonna make a koozie for my pot. I made this one. I don't really use it. This has got my titanium 750 milliliter Toaks titanium pot in it, which I use quite a bit for cooking, but it fits just inside this one. But a lot of times when I'm out there, I use this for most of my cooking because I like a good amount of food. So today what I'm going to do is going to make just a basic wrap that go around that big pot. I won't be making a lid for it, but that's because it has a lid, and with the handle on it makes it all pain in the butt. I'm also going to do one for my cup and show you how to do one for a cup. And this one will have a lid because I actually carry a windscreen and my alcohol stove inside this cup. So the bit of a project, no big deal. I made another one like this, which is for my titanium plate. I did stick on Velcro, and you know, the plate fits in there just nice, and my utensils and a few other things fit in there. And also the big bonus of this is the Mountain House meals and stuff like that fit in here perfectly. So when you got them, you're waiting your 10 minutes, you just put it in here, keeps them really nice and warm. But you will need a few things. You'll need a pair of scissors to cut the insulation, a marker to mark it, and the tape to actually tape it on. As you can see, my tape's old on this one and that one. I made them a year or so ago. But yeah, I got a good sized chunk of insulation left over from projects inside the motorhome. So we're gonna go about seeing if I can do this. I know the first thing we want to do is cut the round for the thing, which is pretty simple. You just take the pot, or you know, as I got the lid, so that'll make it a little easier for me. But I just take my marker, mark all the way around the edges, and that's, you know, pretty simple. Scissors, cut it out. We'll just cut right along the line. Boy, these are dull scissors. Couldn't find the good pair. Of course, the wife probably didn't want me using the good pair to cut this insulation either. Which is fine. We'll make it work. Oh, if I can hold it at the same time and cut it. There we go. And those who don't know, this insulation is just foam filled, like bubble wrap, wrapped with aluminum foil. It's a great insulator. We use it in the motorhome to shade some of the windows when it's really hot out. But as you can see, that's way too big for the bottom of it, but that's fine because we will cut it down a little bit for that. Put spare away. The other piece that we'll need will be, what I'm going to do is just go right below the handle here. I'll put the handle right on the edge so I know how far to roll it. So it's halfway. Grab my pen. And I'm going to make it just a hair long just in case. And I know the height is going to be right below the bend in that, so I'll mark that here. And wherever I put that other mark, all right, it's right there. So we'll mark that here, and we'll cut that. I got a piece of metal here I can use. Oops, sorry about that. Hopefully we're still in decent focus, but I'll just, any straight edge, and this doesn't have to be super perfect, but we'll just draw a line there, and a short line here, which that one's right along the crease, so that'll be easy to see. Throw that back over there, and cut that piece out. And once you get that done, I'll come back with you. Alright, well, I got my two pieces. If I was doing the lid also, I'd cut another circle for the top and a short little band for this area, and it's basically the same thing if you want the top, but you want to do the wrap around the outside first and then roll it out with the wrap on it, so you know that the top is actually a little bigger. And that's another reason for making everything just a little long. But as you can see here, it's pretty good fit. So what we need now is a piece of tape about the right length. Cut it just a hair under, because we can always add more. Nice thing about the tape. Now the hard part is getting the tape off the backing, which I really am not good at. Got a little separation there. There we go. Now this tape, you got to watch out for. It likes to curl. So once you get it kind of out, get it on here about halfway. Doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing has to be perfect. And there we go. We've got the wrap on the outside. Now you can see why this is a little big. Now you can see it actually fits pretty good. So just to show you, I'll slide it onto the pot. There we go. And it's easier to do this with it on the pot too. But now you can see that's a really good fit. This part's kind of a pain, because what you want to do is cut little chunks to kind of pin it together. And the pain is all these little pieces got to be separated again, which I am horrible at it. But what I'll do is I'll separate this and I'll go around in a few spots and just pin it around. I'll come back to you when I get that part done. And as you can see, I got 4 chunks. Now, after this point, you just want to go through and fill in just the same way all the way around until you've got all the seam covered. The reason you do it in the little pieces is if you try to go like this and fold this over it, it's just gonna crease up and yeah, pain. But once I get all that done, I'll run a band of this basically around the whole way around the outside like that. So let me do that. The reason I'm not showing you me doing all that stuff, because it is so hard for me to peel this paper off of here. It is a pain, but it takes a little time, so I don't want to bore everybody with watching all that. At the end, as you can see, I've got a spot here where it's hooked on the pot holder, which I want to be able to use. So once we get this all done, I will put a notch in here so I can actually get my pot grabber in up under this thing, which I'll show you that when I get to it. All right, I'm on the last little piece. You definitely don't design this stuff for little pieces. So total, all the pieces all the way around on this is 16 1 to 1 1/4 inch pieces. But you can see now that we have the complete area all sealed off around the edges basically, and I did pull it down tight to try to close the gap between the insulations to help a little bit. So now I want one. It's going to go all the way around plus a little so it overlaps. Get all that garbage out of my way, and let's see if I can get this started. Oh, it's such a pain. I will say with this stuff, you don't want to really peel the whole thing apart at once. I tried that once, and it just, as soon as it contacts itself, it sticks and it's done. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get a small section, try to line it up level, and then just like most taping jobs, just kind of pull it along, mash her in. There's another reason the end piece here doesn't have to be super long. And if it does ride one direction or another, put a kink in it. It's not that big a deal. But the whole idea of this band is to hold all those little pieces pretty much together on the sides. So you can see I'm running up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is pull it down a little, but either way, it's all covered. So there we go. And that's basically that, but I want to mark each side of this. Now what I gotta go do is grab the handle, and I'll be right back. This is the handle for it. I don't always use it. When they're new, they're nice and tight, that's for sure. But I do like this because it just slips into the pot, and you can hold it pretty good. It's great when it's full. The pot grabber does work real well, which I always carry one of these, just out of habit. So what I want to know now is how long do I have to make the notch? Because this doesn't come in at any angle. It's got to almost be perfectly straight up and down. So what I'm going to do here is roughly measure that far. I want that right about there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this whole notch out. It will hinder the performance a little bit, but not that much. But just so I can use the pot grabber, that's what I want to do. So now, I'm going to slide this on here and use my pot grabber. This isn't done. There's one other thing I like to do is all these edges, I'll take little pieces of tape and run it over the edge. That'll keep it from fraying, getting any kind of food debris inside. And here where I put the seam, I'm going to put another piece of tape just on the side, on the inside, so it doesn't want to come apart. As far as the inside corners go, you could do that if you wanted. I didn't find it necessary, I don't think. Let me look. No, I didn't do it in this one. So that's fine. Now, doing the coffee cup, process is exactly the same, except your notch will only be as big as the handle on the cup. And when you do the lid piece, you'll do the same notch in the lid, except I want to leave that 1/4 inch right there. So when it comes, it almost fits perfect. When it comes down, this will come past the handle, so it'll be pretty well insulated. You'll still have this area in here that won't be insulated, but it's not a super big deal because you want to be able to get your finger in there also to use the cup when it comes time to use it. So let's see if I can do a little piece here about that long. Now you can do corners with this stuff if you want, basically like a butterfly corner. It's gonna be a lot of these little pieces and they are a pain. I've just never been good at separating this kind of thing. Even the Velcro strips I used on the bag for my plate were tough for me to get apart. Oh, that actually went pretty good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put that right there and pinch it down. And I'll do that all the edges all the way around. And that'll pretty much be the end of this project for sure. But yeah, I like it. It's It's gonna work great. I can still use my pot handle for, and I can use my my grabber. This one actually works on almost all my aluminum pots, and this doesn't matter. It's about the same height. Might clip it a little bit, but overall not bad. Now I thought about making one, gotta be careful taking them off because they're easy to squish, making one for the inside of the lid, so when the lid's on it, it's actually insulated too. So I don't know, I'll have to think on that. Be easier if the handle screwed off, but it doesn't. So I'll think on that one, whether I want to do that or not. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and finish up this one and work on the coffee cup, get that one done, which that one will have a lid, and I'll show you when I'm done. Well, I'm just finishing up. It's a couple days later actually, because we had some pretty heavy rains come in. But you can see I got this one for the cup. Fits perfect. I made the lid for the cup. It just slides down right like that and seals up. I'll have to dry this out some more. Some of my tape's not quite sticking yet, but if I stick it in the sun, it'll get all gooey and work just fine. But yeah, just to give you some ideas of what you can do with the insulation. Like I say, I just my cup here takes that, and my little alcohol stove fits inside. That's how I carry that. So yeah, that'll work pretty good. I used the pot one last night. Worked really good. Keep my food nice and warm in the pot. So it works out really good. The options are endless of what you want to do. Like I said, I didn't make one for the lid. Because to cook, you do not cook with this stuff on here. Please don't. I'd have to take it off to cook and put it back on, and it worked out just fine. I did noodles in it, and so I just heated them up to a boil, let them sit for a while. And because of the koozie, they were super hot when I got done. And of course, you know, like I said, that works pretty good. But yeah, when I'm out backpacking, this pot goes in this pot. This does not fit in there, on there, so I just leave it like that. And what I do is I take my plate and my little expandable cup, I throw it in here, and I throw the lid in there also. And just fold that up, and that right there is my normal camping cook kit that I use all the time. This one, if I want, I like the alcohol stove. It's fun to play with, and it works just fine for cooking, which I will talk about that stove. It's a new one. I'm still testing it out at a later date. And yeah, all this stuff always comes with the bags. You know, this is for my spoon, and my titanium spoon, and my fork. This is for the one pot in there, which this actually fits over this, which is really nice. And I also have a little stand for the fuel canister, which actually sits right in the top. Right now it's inside because I don't have a fuel canister, but it, with the fuel canister in there, it doesn't fit quite right in the pot. So I'll put it right here on the top, cinch it down around the legs of the stand, and it holds it in there just perfectly, and all of it fits right in there. It's very handy. As far as the fuel goes for this stove, I carry that in a separate container. I don't like to have that fuel with my stove or with my cooking equipment, so I don't keep it in there just in case it spills. I don't want that flavor in my food. Like I said, when I'm camping most of the time, if I take that, I just shove it in there. If I take the little pot grabber, it goes in here. So your options are wide open on what you want to do with the tape and the insulation. It can be very fun. If you have any kind of aluminum or stainless or titanium cook pot, and if you want to keep something warm inside of it, these work really well. Like I said, this one right here I made for the the pouches for the Mountain House meals and stuff like that. Actually pleated the corners, which I've smashed in since then, so it really didn't matter that much. But my titanium plate and a few pieces of gear fit in there perfectly. Love it. I was trying to think of other things I could use it for, but the cooking is the big one. You could use this stuff. You want to get a piece that's as wide as your air mattress. You could use it under there as insulation. Anywhere you want to use insulation, it'll work for it. It's not super thick insulation, but it is a good thermal barrier. I wouldn't use it for shelters or something like that, but it could be fun. And I want to thank everybody for watching this little tutorial on how I do these koozies. And this one turned out really well. I'm quite happy with it. I could have notched this a little bit deeper, I guess, but it sits on there. It doesn't really want to fall off. You know, easy to pick it up by the lid. You know, and easy enough to remove the lid. And when you're not using it like that, you can just go like that and stick it in there. So you got your hot stuff in here, and I also have a hot lip in there, which you can put on this and drink from, and it helps a lot. But overall, I thought it turned out all right. I'm sloppy, so it's not perfect. I'm sure a lot of you could do better. When I was noticing is I didn't do the edge along here on this piece, where normally I'll do all the edges to seal them up to keep any kind of water, food, debris getting in the insulation and going rancid or something like that. You just don't want it. But overall, thank you for watching.